Hello and welcome to the morning talk show. My name is Nasali, and with me in the studio today are a few guests. We have a very interesting topic that we're going to discuss, and it's called Pan-Africanism. But mostly, we'd like to address today where we are as Africans, what is the struggle, and what we should know. Welcome to the show, please.
Thank you.
Could you please introduce yourselves and where you're from?
Okay, well, my name is Abezari. I was born in Jamaica. I grew up in England and I still live there.
And
my name's Doreen. I was born in England. I still live in England. I live in a place called Bristol.
what I wanted us to talk about really, and I think it will be beneficial to me and all the women out there, is the African woman. I'm not just talking about the woman, but the African woman. What she should know, what she should emphasize and value and do away with.
Okay.
She should know she should do away with these habits.
Okay.
We're going to talk about it from head to toe, whatever there is.
Because that's so important.
It is. But first of all, let's start with her spiritual. Before we started doing this, you said an African person is naturally spiritual. What did you mean by that?
We, as African women, as Africans, used to respect the land and ourselves. Everything we did had a spiritual basis. We were not individuals, we operated as a network, as a family, as a community. I can't speak entirely about Africa as a continent because I've not lived here. I can only talk about my observations and how my experiences.
I think the black person is the
England.
same everywhere. So
Yeah, I do.
it
But
applies.
as I said, I don't want everyone to sort of like take it on board that I'm saying this is you, but these are aspects of my observations of things and my experiences. And we seem to have just completely thrown away our traditional practices, our beliefs, our community.
And you guys believe one of the ways we've done that is in the way we dress
Yes,
and
absolutely.
the ideas we've adopted as
Yes.
to how we should look pretty and how we should dress to put ourselves out there. We've also done that with our hair.
Yeah.
How is that?
Well, it's about. I believe it's about self-hatred. All right, you can do things to adorn yourself. I don't disagree with you trying to do things to make yourself more appealing. Because one thing is, we are beautiful. I believe we're all naturally beautiful.
What are we doing wrong?
But looking good for women is very important for us to look good.
Yes, it is.
And a lot of the things that we do today, from the time we get up to the time we go to bed, we're
Such as?
assaulting our bodies with chemicals,
Such as?
such as what we put in our hair, what we moisturise our skin with, what we the shampoos we wash our hair with, which contains chemicals, the face creams that we made by the commercial face creams that are imported from other countries, even down to what we wash our clothes with, the soap powders that we wash our clothes with, which are made of chemicals.
Okay. Now let me start with the hair because I believe everybody should know this. As you've noticed, I have straightened hair. But I stopped doing this. I stopped doing it
Yeah, that's good.
about 2 months ago. But could you please tell them why it's important not to straighten your hair, not to allow somebody to burn your scalp, all in the name of beauty? That is not
I
even
don't
yours.
understand. I mean, even though I've got my hair in extensions at the moment, I have permed my hair, pressed it, fried it, whatever you want to call it, in the past.
Yes.
That was something my mother did. I didn't have my hair wasn't chemicalized until I was 16, 17. And the whole process of having it chemicalized, I thought once it was done, I thought terrifying. Your
It
head's
is.
burning,
It is.
your head's on fire, you can't comb your
And
hair.
you're sitting there and saying,
the next
I'm not
day.
going to leave until it's done, and
But
you're burning
it's
yourself.
what it's doing to you spiritually as well, because as I said, I'm a very spiritual person. I didn't say my other name because I have a business name. I actually do readings. My name is Amethyst Dawn, and that's another reason why I stopped chemicalizing my hair, because I felt the disconnection with myself, the earth, my ancestors, and what I know. So we know lots of things instinctively. I could know in the morning to get up and not do something. I might have planned to do something, but but I have to change what I was going to do because I'm picking up messages all the time. When I was chemicalizing my hair, that wasn't happening. I do try my best not to put chemicals on my skin, but sometimes that can be unavoidable. But that's, I suppose, because we were raised in a society where everything's about speed. You don't take your time out to do what you used to do.
It's true. You have to be
when you're doing your hair naturally, when you're combing out your hair, it's an exercise as well. It's like a meditation. It's like honouring yourself and blessing yourself. And when you're permanent, it's this thing about being fast. It's about not honouring yourself, about not seeing the beauty in yourself.
And Doreen, I must tell you, the very few women, if none, my age, who do not have straightened hair.
And I find that very sad.
Very, very few. Because that's the way we're brought up. When you get to the age of 18, you've just done your A-levels, you're done, and you're in vacation. And that's the next level. It's like the next level. You're going to university, that's the next level. To being pretty.
But you see, what do you call pretty? Beauty, to most of us, is defined as looking like a European.
What should it be? What should it be for an African woman?
An African woman is beautiful from birth. With your naturalness, with your black skin.
Maintaining our natural hair.
Okay.
Our natural colour.
My question is this. What should give me confidence enough in my skin to say, you know what, I don't need all that. I'm good the way I am. What is it that gives us confidence? Because when we were speaking earlier, I told you, we've developed this low self-esteem mentality whereby you think you're not good enough unless you're close to white.
Haven't you noticed that Europeans are doing things to look close to African?
They are.
They've been telling themselves by coming out in the sun. Now they realise it's killing them. So what they do now is they put another chemical on called spray tanning. So we're trying to be white and they're trying to be black. Can't we see what's going on?
And some of them are locks in their hair.
They have the locks in their hair. They're having surgeries
they're trying to get their hair like mine.
They're having surgeries to make themselves look more African. They're doing things with their noses.
Making their lips bigger.
They're pumping up the lips. They're putting chemicals in to pump up the lips. They're pumping up the breasts. They're
having look more African.
Pumped up. You can get jeans and tights and things like that
with
to make
the bottoms
bigger.
Look
more
like African.
That's right, just like African.
And then we're wearing clothes that aren't designed for us. They're not made by us. They're not designed by us. That's why we would be ashamed of the way we look. If you're going to put yourself into, I'm sorry, Becky, a pair of jeans, all right, they're not designed for us. You put these and then leggings and you're closing yourself in.
They're not us.
Not breathing. It's not for us.
They're not us.
It's not us.
But before we go on, I would want people to know, and I think this is important, what's wrong with the chemical that you put in your hair, and what is it going to do to you?
It's breaking your body down bit by bit.
Explain
the chemicals are carcinogenic, that means they cause cancer. Everything we put on our skin and our bodies gets absorbed through the skin. So these hair straightening chemicals gets absorbed through the scalp and it goes into your bloodstream, and every ounce of blood in our body filters through the liver. The liver is the organ of filtration. And so we end up developing cancers, different forms of cancers throughout the body, because the liver cannot then function to do its role, which is to clean the blood. Right. So these hair straightening chemicals are highly toxic, meaning that they're poisonous. So we're poisoning ourselves slowly.
There you go.
The rates of cancer has risen, tenfold, especially amongst us, our people. And Beanie was talking before.
Our people meaning the black
Africans. Yeah, Africans, whether here on the continent of Africa or in the diaspora. Because
I didn't know that.
Yeah. The rates of various types of cancers has risen manifold, and we're poisoning our bodies not just by straightening our hair, but by, as I said before, the moisturising creams that we use. When we use things like, and I'll name one or two, for example, Nivea or Astral, or I don't know what other kinds of creams you have here in Uganda.
Same. Astral, Nivea,
even
Revlon.
The baby lotions, they contain chemicals which over time, and it's a cumulative effect, they won't kill you overnight, but you use these things year on,
and they accumulate.
The toxins build up in your body.
Over time.
Right, that's right. Your body cannot get rid of them.
And at some point, it has to act out.
They manifest in illnesses, in diseases.
Now, I need you. I'm excited about this. because it pisses me off every time I see a black woman bleach themselves.
Oh,
And then it turns red, black, blue, orange, all over. I really, really am excited about this because I need you to tell them exactly what's wrong with it and how we look at them and what we think of them and what's harmful to them in the long run.
do you know what's that saying? That saying, I hate myself as an African. That's saying I don't value what Mungu, the divine, has given me. We are made in Mungu's image. Those of us who speak Swahili know that Mungu means God. When God has made us the way that we are for a reason. So we're saying we hate ourselves. We want to be like others. We're saying the Caucasoid.
But you can't blame us. You can't blame us.
Well,
The
we are
history we've been through.
bombarded. Yes, the
And
history
the
we've been
media
through,
and everything.
and we are bombarded with imagery on the media that portrays the ideal beauty as looking like a European or like an Indian or like
You
a
have to be
Chinese,
this
with long
big.
straight hair and with certain kind of features and with pale skin.
And all the extensions that we put and all
And it-
this.
you know, I'm sorry to say this as well, but when we straighten our hair, it looks horrible. It looks horrible.
You hate it.
Yes, it looks disgusting because it's plaited to the scalp with grease. It's thin, it's lanky, and what happens eventually? The hair starts to fall out.
It does.
It starts to go bald.
If you do not go to the salon, after 2 weeks, it starts to break. And then it starts to fall out and then thin out.
So why couldn't you to do it?
Because,
Thinner and thinner.
because of what I've been told.
You're destroying the hair follicles.
It's
the hair
a-
grows from the
Excuse,
scalp.
excuse me.
It's
Okay, let me-
hair
But why would
follicles.
right? You know, it's all this what I've been told. When you put this stuff on your head, it burns. All right. Would you put that in your eye?
The problem
Would you
is
put it
this.
in your eye, you
The
would
pro-
no longer be able
Doreen,
to see
I'm not going to
you.
get married to you. I'm not
No.
going to get married to you. I'm going to get married to that boy who's going to tell me you need to go to the salon and who's going to tell me you look nice with my straightened
So
hair.
our men
Who's
need
going
to
to see
wrestle
me
with this as
with
well.
exactly the role that the men are playing is also there because they make us feel that's what we should look like. I go home and my boyfriend says you're too big.
But then
You're
we
too
can
big.
take that right back to the mother, can't we? Because from childhood, they've been raised by that mother who is perhaps reinforcing that false ideal of beauty.
Exactly. So that's what I want us to emphasize for those at home, that it's going to start with them.
Yes, it isn't just the girls that need re-educating about self-love, it's also the males, it's also the boys.
I try to tell my children at home, I have 2 boys and a girl, and I try to tell them that, look, if she's going to scrub the floor, you're going to do it as well. If you're going to look at her and think she's pretty, then it might as well be about something else, something she might have said, something she has done that makes you value her more. I try to create that balance that, you know what, you may be a male, but you're accountable also
Oh yes.
for your life and the things that you do. Now, here's the thing. Let's go back a little bit, I'm sorry. Because I want people to understand this. When you bleach your skin over time,
Yes.
it's going to have an effect on you and your skin, and you're damaging the melanin. Now, most people do not know the value of that melanin, and they do not know what happens to your skin when you actually bleach it. What exactly happens? Do you know?
I wouldn't know chemically what exactly happens with bleaching the melanin out the skin. But my concern is that once you bleach the skin, you can't go back out in the sun. Okay. That chemical's in your system. I don't know if you people bleaching themselves and then they're having children as well, because that chemical will be going from their
Right
system
to the baby.
into the baby as well.
Plus the carcinogens you're talking about, and
Carcinogens, the cancer
Yeah,
causing
it's
chemicals.
cancer
the chemicals,
causing as
that's
well.
right, yeah. Yeah.
As well. And you know, with melanin as well, you know, it's an energy thing for us too. It's again with our, it connects us with our spirituality.
the spirituality.
So you're taking away your spiritual self when you're bleaching this out, and then you know you're just stripping the whole of your.
You're stripping
being.
it away and taking it away, and yourself as well.
There's something you said earlier on about being told about your size, which I find concerning, because you know we are not a people who are skinny. You know, we're built in a way that fits with the terrain. Okay, you know, the way we're built is how we survive. You know, being white and straight and skinny and long hair is about how they survive in that environment. So what we're doing is stripping our way to survive naturally.
Yes.
What we're going to do then, you've made yourself white, you've bleached out your skin, you can't go in the sun. What are you going to do? Start living in a cave or something like that? That's not the way to live.
No, it
and
isn't.
You know, I'm saddened about men encouraging the women to straighten the hair as well, because that's something, you know, around relationships when you think about this, because, you know, you may be beautiful when you're young, so they're just saying you only picture just because of the way you look. So what happens when you get older? Does it discard you and get a newer, younger model? Or, you know, because you have to have a spirit,
because that's what happens.
You're not spiritually connected then, are you?
It all comes down to a woman and the way she feels about herself, and the way it's mostly about men, isn't it? So what they're going to think about you in the long run, so you'll end up doing exactly what they want. You're going to bleach your hair, you're going to lose weight, you're going to lighten your skin.
Because when
you're
you
going
look
to
at the
wear
magazines,
a
or the
sudden
newspapers, or the television, movies, all those who are portrayed as beautiful, that's how they look.
And
that's the perpetual idea of beauty that's been bombarded day in, day out by the media.
And I don't understand why people do not find anything wrong with that. You know, you're watching this on TV, and this is what's portraying to you. What I don't understand is why people don't understand it. That there's something wrong with it.
It's a constant bombardment that you was talking about
Plus,
earlier.
the underlying reason as well, and a lot of people won't like this.
Yes.
Underlying reason as well is because of the religions that we've been given, especially Christianity, because Jesus, or Yeshua ben Joseph, God, is portrayed as a white man. I can go to any any African person's house, whether they're in the continent, in England, in America, or the Caribbean, and especially an older person, not so much the younger people nowadays, and they'll have a picture on the wall of Jesus, and this Jesus has got long, lanky, straight hair and blue eyes. Now, that is supposed
He's
to
the
be...
most handsome man ever, isn't
He's
he?
white.
I know.
You're saying that the person...
But that's what they see.
That's what's been given to us by the Roman Catholic Church.
But you know what? We'll talk a little more about that later.
That is not even a true portrayal.
That is
of this
so
person.
interesting, and I want us to talk about it later.
Cousin, who was he used as a model to
I
portray
know.
this picture of Jesus.
I know that. But now, because we're nearing to the end of this, Doreen, the clothing.
Doesn't she look beautiful? She looks stunning.
I thought so. All the way from there. Oh, thank you. But
Excuse me, because I do wear...
no, we forgive you. You have the hair.
I have natural hair. My hair is in locks.
You have the hair. And the you look great. Don't worry. We forgive you. We forgive you.
The clothing. Oh, please, my
No,
dear.
you look amazing.
I do generally tend to wear African clothing a lot, even to work.
Why? Because no one does that anymore.
Because I love myself. I'm an African.
No, listen, I think African clothes make the African man, to me, the African man looks so regal when he wears African clothes. I know we're talking about women, but the man looks fantastic when he wears African clothes.
When he wears
yeah, it makes him look more, it makes him look powerful, it makes him look strong.
Respectable?
Yeah, oh yeah, man. And the females, we look so much nicer.
But also the clothing
and more feminine
as well, my dear.
It's flattering to our body types. African clothes is better suited to our body shape.
But it's
Apart from
excuse me, it's not just about the body shape. It's also about the clothing.
Yes.
The clothing is about your identity. It keeps you cool.
Yes.
No, remember, you know, if we don't want to talk too much about our men, I'm going to go back to you know my feelings. You know, our men are wearing these things called jeans now. And our men are starting to suffer from fertility problems and cancerous problems. You know, they're getting cancer, the prostate, etc.
And what have the jeans got to do with it?
Because you can't breathe in them. They're too tight. You're meant to be a bit free. When you're wearing African clothes, everything's, you know, the air can circulate, your body can breathe. That's why when they're wearing African clothes, you see them walking tall and strong. When you're wearing these other clothes, you can't walk tall and strong because your skin's not breathing.
You're not
makes us look diminished.
That's it. So your skin's not breathing. So you know when we come down to this, what I'm wearing now. Like I said, I wear my African clothes to work. I find that if I'm sometimes wearing my European clothes to work, I don't feel right. You know, the clothes are dark, they're heavy, so I've always got to do something to give it that extra.
But then for the women out there, what would you tell them? You see, it's so hard for me to suddenly wake up and just wear African clothes, everyone will look at me like I'm cuckoo. So why is it? Why should I value them in the first place anyway?
Because
why would I care?
This is for us buyers. This is what we've done. We're going out and buying stuff that's alien. Excuse me.
Those of us
we're
just a minute.
That's how we're going.
Okay.
African clothes.
Okay, just a minute. Yeah,
we're wearing things that are alien to us. All right. African, you know, the clothes were made by us. They were made for us. Now, I mean, I find it shocking that I come to Africa. I'm not going to say Uganda yet because I haven't had the opportunity to go out shopping in Uganda. Okay. So I will find that out shortly. But last year I was in Gambia. At the beginning of the last year, end of last year I was in Gambia. At the beginning of the year I was in Kenya. And I went shopping in Gambia and I went to the May markets. I was looking for African material made by Africans.
Yes.
Right, and I wanted an African outfit making. It took me hours. As a matter of fact, I went to a couple of markets
there was a lot
I
to choose from.
finally found some African material made by an African. And they were telling me it was Hollandese, it was Chinese, it was this, that and the other. Now, if I go to like Birmingham, for example, in England, and it's got a lot of Asians in Birmingham, you do not find Africans selling Asian clothes. Right? You see Asians selling Asian clothes made by Asians for Asians and for their shape as well. Right? Where we won't do that. We're even kind of like Europeanizing some of the styles of the African clothes that we're making, which again, it's not for us. It's
and
not
what they
our
do not
design.
know is what you said earlier. When I buy African clothing from an African person, I'm actually putting the money back into Africa, isn't it?
Yes, that's right.
It is.
So every time I'm buying somebody else's clothes made by somebody else, it's
You're not enriching your country.
the same person you're trying to fight against, right?
You're giving the finance away again as well.
But then the thing that I really want to know is this: what kind of clothing should an African woman value and pass on to their children? What should they have in mind?
First of all, I think it should be in natural fibres, so cotton, linen, silk, not synthetic, because for example, it's the wrong kind of fabric to be wearing in a hot climate anyway, because it's not absorbable.
Yes.
Secondly, they are also made of chemicals. They're made from petroleum, and when we wear these synthetic fibres on our bodies, again, through the skin, we're absorbing chemicals from these synthetic fibres as well. Cotton is very breathable, linen's very breathable, helps to keep you cool. And then natural fibres, I'm into natural. What I'm wearing, although it's European, it's still made of cotton.
Okay.
Yeah.
What kind of challenges do you face being a black woman in the Western world?
I can't remember it.
Apart from racism.
Well, the works, whatever.
Apart from racism, that's common every day, whether it's in the workplace or you could be out shopping. It's not as overt as it used to be, in my opinion. It's generally more under the table, but it's still there. We're still constantly having to face it.
It still must hurt.
Battle it. Oh yes, it does. It does. But then that's the nature of the beast. I don't know if they can help it. They probably can't help it until we as Africans become more powerful, politically,
more aware,
economically, more aware, militarily.
Change the media as well.
The challenges are, for me, to respect myself and to respect my fellow Africans, especially in the face of sometimes the fact that we don't always respect ourselves and that we don't love the fact that we're Africans. Not to let anyone believe that they're more superior than me. As far as I'm concerned, I'm superior. I was made in the image of God. When we talk about first world people, you know, we are first world people. So that's my challenge every day, is to walk out that door knowing that, and then not allow people to use superior language or duplicitous language to make me feel a lesser being. So it's challenging that. You know, walking out that door, knowing sometimes you might have to put the gloves on and the mask on to be able to face those trials and tribulations that you're faced with. When certain things don't go right, look at why they're not going right. And then you know, I just feel, for me, I believe I'm a very powerful person. And the more Africanized I am, the more powerful I become. And I
That's
don't need to
very
stand
profound.
on the rooftops and shout that out. The way I walk,
That's very
I am
profound.
a goddess. The way I walk does that.
I like
said,
that.
I've got my
That's
African
profound.
clothes on. These earrings I'm wearing were made by an African. All right, so when I
Very
purchased
nice.
these earrings, they were made by an African, and I gave my money to an African, so that I know he can eat another meal, another day, and survive.
But
So
what I want to know though, don't you find yourself having to compromise your beliefs and what you stand for just so that you can fit in certain situations that
no
may come
compromise.
about?
I don't compromise my beliefs. Maybe when I was younger, I might not have been so open about things, but I don't compromise anymore. I am who I am. If you don't like who and what I am, then you're not in my social circle.
And you're
Okay?
happier.
I'm happier. I mean, when I go home, I shut my door, and I don't want to like chant down television, but I don't have a television that's connected to a television network, because I do not want to be programmed by television. So when we're talking about all these images and women wanting to look slimmer and having these small noses, I don't have those images in my house. In my house, it's all African. I've got all African carvings, African pictures. When I put on my television, because I do have a television in the house, it's DVDs and videos. So what I watch is what I choose to watch, and not what's been programmed into me by the television. So that's what makes me feel powerful. When I go out, I feel powerful
And more
I walk
comfortable in your
straight.
skin.
And I follow traditional beliefs. I don't follow the Bible. I don't follow the Quran. I try to keep it as traditional as I can with the understanding that I've got
And
as
like
well.
I was telling her, that's interesting. But now, before we end, what should I be telling my children? What should I be teaching them? Me as their mother, just me. What kind of role model should I be to them? Because like I said, society, the way we were brought up is completely westernized and white man, infiltrated. What should I be teaching my children right now, and what should I put on my list that they should be?
I think it's
When they grow up.
important for you as a mother.
Do you have kids?
No, I don't.
Okay.
But I have nieces and nephews. So I introduce them every now and then to what I call conscious material. So educational material, because the education system that our children are being raised in here in Africa and the other diaspora is a European educational system.
Yes, it is.
Centres entirely around white supremacy, basically, and maintaining it. And it's important for us to know our history, the history of this continent, from before the coming of the European and the Arab and all the other foreigners, and up to the present day.
Don't you think it should be taught in schools as well?
It's absolutely fundamental to be
And
taught
in their
in schools.
languages?
Yes,
In their mother tongue?
absolutely. It's very important to read certain books and to gain certain knowledge about ourselves. It's very important. It's fundamental. It's our foundation.
But
our
do you think
roots.
it's possible to implement that right
Yes, yes.
Especially from
the
the home.
material is available.
Yeah, especially from the home.
You can get the material. You can get the books. Maybe there aren't the bookshops here at the moment to supply. Incomayo is going to open a bookshop, but you can buy them online as well.
What about in the schools? Do you think it's possible to one day have schools in the African continent that teach about African history and in their mother tongue?
I wish. It's
think-
imperative, absolutely possible.
I'm-
And no, I believe it's possible. It's just a will and the desire, because the material is available. We have a wealth of material. Speak to people like Bini Batwaka, who was on here before. He can introduce you to teachers, lecturers, sources of information. There's a wealth of material out there that is available.
That can be helpful.
Absolutely, yes.
This is another question I want to ask. Whenever I meet a woman, what should an ideal African man be? What kind of husband and father should he be? What values should he uphold?
Well, he has to be walking. I knew I wanted a man who was walking the same path as me.